Welcome to Mediocre Gaming, and today we're playing Tom Clancy's The Division. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and salutations. Today we're talking about where The Division is going and how you're getting classified gear. Let's talk about that. So in the last state of the game, the developers talked about changes that they're going to be making to make some things more relevant, even though they didn't directly say so, and how you're going to get those classified gear sets finished that you haven't been able to so far. So as a surprise, or not a surprise, they are going to up the percentage chance of getting classified gear from named enemies. That's Dark Zone, Resistance, basically all modes, except for Survival, where you have currently a 3% chance drop of getting classified, and they're going to up it to 6%. Now, the big news, of course, is that currently the Dark Zone is the best place, your best chance of getting classified gear from named enemies, because that has a 5% chance of dropping currently. So it makes a whole lot of sense to go to the Dark Zone right now before the update. Once the update happens, then you can go anywhere and get those drops at the current rate. Although I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't up the Dark Zone percentage a little bit more than everywhere else. Although they said it was going to be 6% across the board, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Dark Zone is a little bit higher. The exotic drop pool is being updated, where you will no longer get the vendor exotics in a drop. So if you want one of those historians or centurions that you can get from the exotic vendor at the base, you buy it. Everywhere else is going to drop exotics that you can't get there. So instead of getting your 20th historian, you're going to be getting things like the Showstopper and the House and the big Alejandro. So that's great news. Also, the Season Pass supply drops that are in free roam, they're going to have 100 DTech plus a 10% chance of dropping classified gear. You're going to have a 20% chance of getting classified gear from the legendary missions. And I believe that's from the exotic cache, not from the named bosses. So you'll only be able to roll that once per week for each of the 4 missions. Now, what else did they talk about? The global events will still be the best way to get classified gear when they happen, but they're only going to happen for 1 week for every 6 to 8 weeks. They're getting rid of one of the caches. They're keeping the superior caches, which gives you about a 45% chance of getting a classified twice, and then you have a 2% chance of getting a third item, and that one's guaranteed to either be a classified or an exotic. But they're also adding a single classified cache in the global event that will guarantee 1 classified gear set piece from the event. Now, the exotic vendor is also going to have a classified cache for 2,500 Phoenix credits. Well, that's half of what you can totally hold. So your current capacity for Phoenix credits is 5,000. He's going to sell a cache for 2,500. That will guarantee 1 random classified piece. That's great news because Phoenix credits were starting to lose their favor for a lot of players because they weren't very relevant, because they already had all the blueprints. They don't really want or need a regular gear piece set. If you're new, you're going to be in a scrape for Phoenix credits because you're still buying blueprints, and now there's going to be this classified set, and now you're going to have to decide whether to buy that blueprint or whether to get a roll on the classified gear. But this is great news because it brings back relevancy to things like survival and running survival more than just to get that weekly cache. And speaking of weekly caches, the daily and weekly caches will give D-Tech. That's the other big news. They're bringing more D-Tech and more ways to get D-Tech. The season pass holders that have twice a month a supply drop in free roam, you're going to get 100 D-Tech every time you open the cache. The daily caches will drop guaranteed D-Tech. Weekly caches will drop guaranteed D-Tech. So you're going to have more D-Tech available to optimize your gear. You're going to have more chances to get classified gear. So currently, if you want that one piece of classified gear, if you're going free roam or resistance anywhere outside of the dark zone, you'll have to kill 2,800 named enemies in order to get that one piece that you're missing, on average. Now, when I say these numbers, they're on average. So there's a chance that you'll need actually more than that, or it could be less, but that's the average. So 2,800 named enemies outside of the dark zone to get that one piece that you're missing. Currently, in the dark zone, it's 1,680 named enemies. You'll have, after the update, you'll have to kill 1,400 named enemies, either in the dark zone or outside of the dark zone, to get that one piece. Again, on average. Legendary missions have a high percentage chance, 20%, of dropping a classified. So you'll need to do about 420 legendary missions in order to get that. Now, you can only do each legendary once per week to get that reward, and there's only 4 legendary missions. So that means that you'll have to do each legendary mission once a week, every week, for 15 weeks in order, again, on average, to get that one piece that you're missing. Now, the exotic gear vendor, he's going to have a cache, 2,500 Phoenix credits. You have to get 84 of those in order to get the one piece that you're missing, again, on average. So the gear vendor is the second best way of getting the piece that you're missing. Legendary missions are the next one. And then free roam bosses are your alternative. Now, the best way, of course, is global events, but in the future, they may have them more or less often. I don't know. They haven't talked about the frequency of global events, but that is only for 1 week, and then you have to grind, get those global event credits, and get the caches, and then open them up and see what you got. Anyway, that'll be it for this episode. Thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing, and we'll see you next time.